Hello everybody, today 343 Industries responded to our feedback for Halo Infinite and it includes all the things they've changed and leaving alone moving forward with Halo Infinite. Now as a community we've given a lot of feedback, especially on this channel we've done like 3 or 4 feedback videos and then maybe another couple for the other flight tests. There's a lot to cover in here. Some of it you guys are really going to like, some of it not so much, but let's jump right into it. So let's cover the good news first. Jeff Steitzer will be back in BTB after the launch of Halo Infinite. You guys are going to notice that I'm going to say after launch a lot in this video. So if someone wants to count how many times I say it, I'd love to know at the end of the video how many times I actually did. But Jeff Steitzer is coming back, which is awesome. I'm curious to see what they're going to do with the new announcer. Maybe they're just going to completely remove it. But I'm really excited to see him return. We made that happen as a community, so good job everyone. That probably wouldn't have happened if we didn't all collectively say, we want him back, put him in the game, why isn't he in BTB? The other good news is a new progression system will be coming out after launch. This will be a completely different system to the Battle Pass. It'll be completely made from the ground up. Unisheck says in the blog post that it might take a while to actually create because they're going to do a proper system, not just something that's half-baked and thrown out there. So that's really good to see. Another thing that they added that was coming post-launch will be the boosts counting down outside of games. A lot of us gave feedback and said, well, if we're spending like 33% of our time outside of a game searching for a game, or if someone activates a boost and then they have to go do something, or do they just lose all of that extra experience they would have gotten? Admittedly, I'm still not a huge fan of the whole Battle Pass progression system as it is. But the fact that we're going to be getting a different progression system makes me pretty happy. And with a lot of these things, having a middle ground between the two systems, because there's a lot of time invested into the Battle Pass system they have obviously created, I'm more than happy with the changes that they have proposed. Next up we have the Banshee. Now the Banshee was pretty weak in the flight test. They'll be receiving a buff. Nothing about how it actually flies and controls, which was my main issue with it, alongside the Banshee bomb being weaker. The plans as it currently is, the Banshee will be receiving a Banshee bomb, I guess the radius will become bigger, but again we'll see on launch. Next up we have weapon tuning. Bloom will not be removed, but the cone angle of aim, I'll put it on screen now what they're talking about, will be increased. And it basically is how far away from the body are you going to get aim assist. The main thing I'm really curious to see is the shock rifle turn on hip magnetism. That could honestly make it the new sniper rifle. Zoomed in, it's very, very good. So it might become a true, real power weapon if there's actually magnetism from the hip. We'll see. Continuing on from that, the sniper rifle, the random no-scope bloom spread will not be getting changed, and there was no note of the sniper glare, the big shining light from the gun. I'm still hoping that it gets turned down at some point, but I really don't think that's going to happen. Nothing about the random weapon pads either, about the weapons changing game to game. But on launch, if these things are still issues, obviously I'll make more feedback videos, and time will tell. Next up we have the radar. Now the radar will actually be getting increased from 18 meters to 22 meters. I found the radar was a bit small, so it's really good it's being extended a little bit for the bigger maps. The flags being pushed by vehicles has been patched, but all of you guys have seen this. You get in the Ghost, you push the flag all the way across the map, easy cap. And that also goes for the double melee glitch. That's been patched for a long time now, internally. Had some comments saying, is it removed, isn't it removed, so I just thought I'd clarify for everyone. Next up we have performance and optimization. The really good news for this is there's been some really good strides made in overall performance. So I'm really excited to see how much better the game runs on launch. We are under a month away, even less if they actually do an early release bundle. Also, another little side note, IGN is going to be showcasing the campaign or their first impressions of the campaign on Thursday American time, so we may be getting new gameplay then too. Next up we have the friend or foe tag, and to put it simply, there's no changes to the glowiness of it and how far away you can see people. I thought people were a little too illuminated, it was too easy to see people across the map when you saw the outline, but at least the overshield is very obvious to tell you have overshield. But the overall, I guess how the shields looks worse than Halo C and Halo 2. The color looks a bit full, like white and blotchy with the overshield. So I'm hoping that gets refined a bit more to be like an actual visible shield. The next thing they'll be getting buffed post-launch is the plasma pistol. 343 actually said they were expecting more outcry than what they actually got. And I really feel like there is a niche role that the plasma pistol can play in the sandbox. It isn't just an EMP weapon, it can move away from that and just have a really strong draining shield effect. So I really hope the buff fits it into that niche, because obviously electricity weaponry is now the new EMP class. Moving on from that, we have a couple other weapons that are actually going to be receiving nerfs. There's been some physics stuff, there's going to be player collision talk, and then a customizable HUD. So first off, the Commando got nerfed. It now takes one more extra bullet to kill. Again, no bloom change. There's also been changes to the aim to make the aim feel a bit more fluid and better and easier. I guess easier is the key word there. A lot of people said they couldn't aim. I personally like Halo when it's really hard to aim. But from what I can understand from the blog post, accessibility is a huge thing for 343 moving forward. Even Forza, I've noticed, actually has an accessibility setting that all the game will move in 50% speed, but the actual physics will remain the same, which makes the game more accessible to people with disabilities. So it kind of makes sense to me why they're making the guns a bit easier to use, but we'll see how much easier when the game launches. Next up, my favorite part of the blog post is grenade jumping and hammer impulse physics will get changed post-launch to be increased. Now, how much is it going to get increased? We don't know yet, but grenade jumping will be back. And obviously, hammering vehicles across the map is a staple content of my channel, so I'm really excited to see when that happens. Next one is a big one, and I feel like you guys are going to talk about it a lot in the comments, is player collision. Player collision will still be off. So there'll be no collision. You can still run over people with vehicles on your team. I think that's the way it's going to work. But for the most part, you could have all 12 people standing in one spot, and you could like death dot. If you ever play RuneScape, you know what the death dot is. It's all the players standing on one point, and then you all expand at once and you overwhelm people. But I see a lot of issues arising from no collision. However, 343 says the benefits outweigh the negatives. A big benefit is you don't get pushed around by people. I would argue, however, that if you have a player run through your body and you fire a rocket launcher and you blow yourself up, or they walk through you while you're shooting and it blanks your bullets, it's going to be very annoying. And also, what if you're running an objective and you just have the whole team meat shielding the player with the objective and you can't shoot him? That's going to get very annoying as well. So we will see. I think if the meta evolves to be really toxic, that I think collision will be turned on, but they're willing to give it a go on launch to see how it goes. But let me know in the comments about that. Let me know what you think about that. Moving on from that, we have a customizable HUD that'll be coming post-launch. Visibility will also enhance with the 2 grenades. You can see which grenades you have easier, which is really good. A customizable HUD will be fantastic. So I'm really glad they're adding that because I personally had trouble seeing certain things, but I'm so glad they took our feedback on board. The final thing in the blog post is about BTB vehicles and how they spawn onto the map. Now, in traditional Halo games, in big team battle, you'd have a tank, a Banshee, you'd have them all scattered across the map. However, in Halo Infinite, you might have some light vehicles like a Warthog and a Mongoose on each base, and you have a Pelican drop which will drop in vehicles periodically throughout the game. After the feedback from the community, 343 has said that they want games to progressively get more and more epic. They will not be adding a tank or a Banshee at each base, and they will only be dropping towards the latter half of the game. What that basically means is that towards the start of the game, you might get a Ghost. As the game progresses, you might get a Wraith, or a Banshee, or a Wasp. And at the very end of the game, you will get a Scorpion. I know that's going to divide a lot of people, so again, let me know in the comments below. So that's going to do it, guys. That wraps up the whole blog post. Lots of good stuff, some negatives in there too. They didn't cover multi-kills or multi-kill timers. So again, we'll see in the future what happens. But thank you all so much for watching. I'm excited to hear your thoughts about the blog post. Are you happy with the changes? Would you like to still see more changes? But yeah, let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys later. Bye.